Hello, my name is Richard. I'm still not a robot. I'm still leaving in my mistakes, and today I want to talk about how the harness is the moat. So a long time ago now, it's probably been a long time ago in AI world. Probably only a few years in reality, Google wrote a paper about how they had no moat. Now, this is effectively the idea that originally Google invented what the transformer technology, which is the basis of LLMs today, and they realized that they had no particular technical advantage in this, that any other company out there, any other research business, and ultimately OpenAI was going to take that technology and go ahead and bring it to the masses. And ultimately, they had nothing that was going to stop that from happening. Now, I think ultimately, and I think this is just the way the world goes, is that they are going to be proven incorrect. Because while they might not have a moat for that, I think that ultimately the way things work is that the moat that you create is the harness that you use to take that technology. So if you want to think of almost like the transformer technology behind an LLM is almost like they had invented the while loop in programming. You know, the while loop is in every programming language now, it's everywhere. But you can go back to programming languages in the early days that did not have that kind of feature, but you could never have claimed that the while loop was a moat. Like you would never have seen it like that. It is how you harness the while loop. It is the software, it is the tools. I have no doubt that VisiCalc or Excel or really popular early software products used the while loop. They harnessed that. People did not care about the technology that were underneath. They cared about the way it was harnessed. And it is the same today. Training an LLM at this point has become such common practice that people are started doing it on pre-1930s text only just for a laugh. I'll leave a link to more about that down below. So absolutely, if you have a massive giant computing cluster, a huge amount of investment, a team of talented staff, there is no doubt that you have an advantage, but there are limits to LLM technology, and there are limits to how far that kind of reinforcement learning is going to be optimized, just because there are diminishing returns like all software optimization. So this is why Anthropic, earlier this week, they're leaning hard into new Claude Code features. They're trying to make Claude Code the #1 choice for developers, because then you are less likely to move to other models. Because, let's be honest, at the moment, most of us are jumping back and forth between whatever model we still have usage left with. But if Anthropic can make Claude Code come with a bunch of tools and services that make it nicer to use, then I'm less likely to go ahead and switch. It also takes the pressure off their model team to always have something new. If the model is good enough, then a lot of developers will stick with it just because they like the tooling. And that becomes important as the gap between model capabilities shrink. I've long thought that the harness would become the moat, especially as the open source models continue to grow in capability. And I kind of think Microsoft and Apple know that too, which is why Copilot has always let you choose whatever model you wanted. And it came out this week that Apple, despite having done a deal with Google to use their Gemini models as the basis for Siri in the future, are pretty much going to let you use whatever model with the Apple Intelligence features that you want. If the app can still find you the right photos, write the to-do app that you're trying to write to deal with the way your brain works, or can surface the time of your mum's flight, you don't really care about the model underneath. We're so early in this process of trying to work out the right set of tools, determining what the model can do, training our staff how to take advantage of them. But we're also emotional animals, and developers especially will stick with the tool that they feel comfortable with, even if it's not the best option, just because it's the one that they learn first. Longer term, I think that the larger development shops will probably write their own harnesses. I can already see how a pre-packaged interface with the right tools, skills, knowledge access, and guardrails would benefit our team. So I just think that anyone with a large code base is going to, see that advantage of at knowing the right context and having that be tuned depending on the part of the system that you're working with. I've got to assume that there are companies who are working that problem already, which is why I also assume that you can't use your Claude subscription with anything other than Claude Code. Because if you can switch to another harness and get used to something else, it's really easy to switch. And that's not good for Anthropic, OpenAI, or anybody else who's just relying currently on being the best model. They're not going to be the best model forever. Eventually, Moore's Law is going to catch up with them. So at this stage, having the harness be the moat is the only way they can survive.